Today we have an organic, country-raised, corn-fed Remnant 2 build. Working as intended, no glitches, no exploits, as always, 100% natty gameplay, okay? The damage could be a bit higher TBH, looking a bit low compared to other builds, especially the service pistol. But this is using pretty much just two things to get really good damage. The rest are just, it's like min-maxing to an extent. But 100k DPS, or to some folks 10, depends on how you view it. And the main things you're going to need is going to be the energized net coil and the Witchfire. You can unequip the majority of everything else, and you're, wait, you need that, and you'll be fine. So if you think I have stuff on you don't want to use, that's fine. You don't need it. You just need energized net coil, Witchfire. You don't even need ritualist, and you don't even need archon. But your damage will be a bit lower. 11k DPS for using a single modifier is still very freaking good. I think most bosses have around, let's say, 150k HP, something like that. So just two of these, you're chilling. And if you use both quickly, you generate mod power very fast. For some reason, using just one, you don't get back your mod power. Like, you don't gen mod power when you have it in use. It's very weird. To explain the build, I got Ritualist as my prime archetype for Vile Prime perk, where folks take 15% more damage from status effects, as well as Wrath, where folks take 20% more damage from all sources when affected by negative statuses. My skill is going to be Death Wish. You just get more raw damage. When you pop it, be careful though, it is quite literally a Death Wish. You will die. Kinship makes it to where it doesn't hurt that bad though, so be rocking Kinship as a trait. Then we got Archon for our second archetype because of the mod damage, and Chaos Gate for even more mod damage. One of the two most important parts is going to be energized net coil. It just makes the freaking Witchfire and stuff do insane damage. That's necesito. Then I got Worn Admiral's Ring. Do not worry, you ain't gonna use that. You can instead use Stone of Balance for a whole 3% less damage, but you won't be taking 200% damage. Then we got Burden Destroyer. We're not shooting our guns, so ideal weapon range doesn't matter, and instead we just get a raw 15% more damage for our Witchfire modifier. Then Singe Ring, because Witchfire applies burning, and you get 10% more, I believe it's multiplicative, but I could be wrong on that, 10% more damage. Finally, a Hane Crystal. You get 5% additional damage for each stats effect on the target. It's multiplicative, so even having just one is better than having something else. And for some reason, in my testing, things like the elemental damage ring, such as the alumni ring, and also, where it at though? The Firestone didn't actually give you more damage. If it did, it was very insignificant. So you want raw damage if you can, which is why I have all these things equipped. For my sidearm, I have Creeping Mist. You don't need this, but it's pretty freaking insane. It's a new modifier that makes enemies take 25 additional status effect damage. And they're 5% more likely to be struck by critical hits, and it lasts for freaking ever. It is beyond awesome. I got Twisting Wounds just in case I need to use my secondary, which also works really well with the Energized Net Coil. My melee weapon is Krellax because it applies Overloaded, which is status effect, but the big thing is Stormbringer. This makes it so enemies will take 10% more damage from all status damage. It only lasts 10 seconds, so it's a little Kringles, but it's nice for other stuff. You don't use it too much with this. Instead, you just pop Witchfire, they die, but it's like the thought that counts. And the weapon, we got Witchfire, because why not? Like Witchfire, for some reason, just does the most with this. I tried the, what's it called? I tried Firestorm, and it wasn't anywhere close to this. Like, legit, not even close. And then for my mutator, I was trying Maelstrom, but it doesn't actually give you more damage. I think instead you're better off using something that gives you mod damage, like Harmonizer. Now for my Relic, Ruined Heart, to get back my mod generation in case something goes wrong. We got mod duration plus 15%, 10% elemental damage, which doesn't actually work, as far as I know, and 10% mod damage. Kinda wish I could get a little bit more damage here somehow, some way, but I don't think I can. That is unfortunate. I don't believe elemental damage does anything. I don't think it does anything for you at all. And your armor is your choice. You can rock whatever you want to. I'm rocking this because it looks sick, and that's my fit. These are the traits I've chosen. Use what you want. I do suggest Swiftness for every single build, and Kinship for this one because of Death Wish. You'll die if you don't have it. I promise you. And from there, just go nuts. If you want more survivability, spec into it. We have 85 total trait points now you can get. So you have a lot more options and a lot more leniency. This is the build in action. Go ahead and pop my Death Wish outside the boss room, enter and use the mist near the boss. From there, looking for a spot to put Chaos Gate so I don't get killed in the process. And then I'm just going to spam the Witchfires, and the boss is dead in less than 3 seconds. from first hit. It doesn't always look that good though, because sometimes you gotta arch up a little bit, gotta throw it back, throw it up if you will. But the mist actually has a pretty massive range. It's just the Witchfire doesn't. Like maybe you could climb that wall, but I doubt it, and I wasn't trying to risk it. And on some bosses, you have to wait for the opportunity. In Shahala's case, wait for the arms. And that may take a bit longer than... Actually, not. There's not really any builds that are natty that can kill it faster than this, even just waiting. And this is another case where you're freaking lobbing that nade. I will say there's a spoiler coming up if you haven't seen the last, seen one of the bosses in the new DLC. Right after this one, you can go and skip if you want. But this is a funny one. It's just... I didn't even pop freaking my skill and he died that fast. Could you imagine? And this is the one true king. This is a spoiler alert. If you kill him before you kill the minions, or if you kill him and not kill all his minions, you get his melee weapon. If you kill his minions and then kill him, you get his rifle, as far as I know. And they're both not that very good, so there's that. This is where the terms and conditions start to apply, because you do no damage to this thing. It just doesn't get hit. There's a lot of cases like that, but this one, it doesn't get hit in the first phase, second phase. Abomination is immune to everything. Status effects, I popped my asthma, and you said, nah, I'm good, bruh. I got my inhaler. What am I supposed to do with that, bruv? I just freaking drank the Sudoku Kool-Aid and said, I'm good. Pass. Another nerd who just says, I'm gonna go ahead and pass on all that. And it says elemental resist, doesn't mean he's like elemental immune. It just means he takes less damage to elemental stuff. Like right now he's affected by fire. The Witchfire just couldn't reach him. And this boss is the bane of my existence, bro. Freaking Keanu Reeves. It's a cool fight. I just despise how elements don't really affect it like it should. Like, I get there's water. Like, realistically, there's water, whatever. But, funnalistically, it's not a good time. Right now, the fire is the only thing my asthma couldn't apply. I'm waiting for this nerd to get on the concrete and catch these hands. Speaking of fire, nah, that's next week. Most likely. I gotta wait for the OK on the Young sponsorship. I'm excited, y'all. But when he's on the concrete, he gets decimated. That should be all for the build and the build showcase. Hopefully you liked it. I know it's a bit wacky. It's you know, somebody call it an exploit, not intended, but hey man, that's Remnant 2, bro. Use what you can when you can, because in my case, I play the same game over and over and over again, trying to experience it in different ways. And by the way, it's how you get the energized net coil. Go to the labyrinth where I showed at the beginning of the clip, and go in this little crevasse to my left. And the build you're seeing right now will showcase here in the next few days, probably for a sponsored video with a respectable company. Okay, so if you guys see that, I'd appreciate a like and a comment on that video, and if you want to on this video as well. It supports me more than you know, because content creation, contrary to popular belief, is not that easy, man. This stuff is a struggle and a half. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and stay tuned for more build videos and gameplay and whatnot.